Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Sunday, wherever you are. Maybe it's Sunday evening, maybe it's early morning. Wherever you are, thank you for joining us here for another great day of Paladins esports. This time, we're looking at North America. My name is Evan Rayner, known as Rain Day, and I'm casting, of course, today with my partner in crime, Hi-Rez, pretty haired Nick Keogh. How you doing, man?
Good, brother. Ready to be here on this Sunday. Excited for NA, especially after all the action we saw over in Europe yesterday. That was really intense stuff. I think that had to be probably the longest broadcast, most best of fives that we have ever seen in a day of Paladins esports.
Oh, absolutely. That was more intense than walking into your spouse cheating on you. 5 days, 5 games, felt like 5 days. And we didn't finish till about 10:30. So it was really exciting. A lot of people had a lot of good things to say, but boy, I was glad to jump in my bed and get some sleep. Today, though, we will be talking about where we've come from. We just did that, but where we're going, even more important. That is the path to DreamHack coming up. If you want to know why we're here for the Open Summer Qualifiers, that is because we want to get to Spain, and these players do too. It's week 3. It's a swing week. In order to do that, they're going to have to come in the top 2 here in the next stage. But 4 of them are trying to get themselves into a round robin part, which will kind of delineate who those top teams are able to make it to Spain, Nick.
Yeah, it's going to be really intense, I think, coming down to the wire here in a couple of weeks, because those second and first place finishes honestly can mean so much. I mean, during the Masters qualifiers, using the same point scheme, we saw somebody who just finished first 1 week. Maybe it got lucky, or maybe they just had a good day, but that one first place finish allowed them to make it into the next stage of qualification and give them a real shot at land.
And, you know, that's what all these teams want to do in this budding esport. Getting to the big prize money is so important, but just getting your name out there, getting on the big viewership moments, that's what they're looking for at the summer premiere in DreamHack Valencia. So we have that coming up for you in July 13th through 15th. A lot more action coming through as well. And especially today, we've got some great teams lined up. It's a good time to take a look at the brackets and see exactly who's going to be playing and who's made it to the semifinals. As you know, we are going to be looking at this top side and the bottom side semis, and then finishing the day off with the finals. All of these sets are best of 5s. And if you're looking on your screen, you'll see that Odin's chosen and Woogly will be facing off, and Kungarna and Denial will be facing off as well. Nick, Odin's chosen, not a name we've seen in North America. What's up with that?
Yeah, Astro Authority was the team formerly known as these guys. They had their contracts basically come up and they couldn't agree on terms with the organization, so they did part ways. But all things told, I think this is probably the stronger name to give them the advantage here today.
Well, Odin, you know, he is the all-father, so if he's got any say in the battleground, hopefully he can pass some of that over into the realm. Woogly as well, looking to make some high contention there and take it to a best of 5, or maybe finish things up in 3 if they're able to. We've seen the underdogs in these sets be very vicious to the top teams who maybe weren't ready and on their toes for a great opponent. We're going to be taking a look at this set first. So the map draft is on your screen, and where they'll be playing first today will be Stone Keep. So Frozen Guard and Jaguar Falls actually banned out. That's a little atypical, Nick. Jaguar Falls, kind of a map that pretty standard for a lot of teams.
Definitely the Frozen Guard map is, not super surprising. Just kind of a personal preference thing, I think. But Jag Falls is normally one that we do see in the first 3 games. Even if it's a best of 3 sweep, we will normally see Jaguar Falls. Personally, I think this is a ban from Woogly against Astro Authority in particular, because Astro Authority are very good at the double tank lineup. They are very good at keeping their momentum high and snowballing early wins, especially, Woogly being the lower seeded team here. They're not trying to give Astro Authority that type of scenario.
And it does give the opportunity for a odder map, maybe less consistently seen in the professional dimensions, to be played. And that could be in Ice Mines, where we've seen a lot of, times the lower seeded team have just as much of an advantage on that specific map as the top seeded team, trying to just limit their opportunities to really get exposed for maybe not being at the level as we've seen Astro Authority, or now currently Odin's Chosen, play at. So going into the champion draft, the big things for me, Inara, I want to know how much they prioritize this, Nick, but I also want to talk about who we haven't seen, which is, to me, pretty interesting. We haven't seen the Pip. We haven't seen some of this lockdown, some of the big favorite kind of healing opportunities that North America presents, especially with that big Evil Mojo ultimate being able to affect her.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the best answers. You know, Dragon Punch is a good one, but people have kind of prioritized Drogos, especially in Europe. Pip has never been someone that's been a favorite champion except for, you know, Simsaloo. But other than that, you know, D69 don't really take it. 50 Shades of Sneck, they don't really prefer it. And I think because of that alone, that sort of impressions the rest of the European region to dissuade them from taking. Because if those guys don't think it's good enough, then a lot of those lower seeded teams that look up to those two aren't going to think it's good enough either.
Absolutely. Stone Keep, good map as well to kind of pressure away some of the picks people think might be strong. The Inara, I think, is not her best on this map, in particular because of the height advantage you can get on her. That wall becomes negligible. But who is pretty good right now, all these 5 picks, Androxus, Ruckus, Bomb King, locked away for Odin's Chosen, and Woogly takes Saris and Drogos to counter that.
Yeah, weird, I guess, is... I after what we saw yesterday, and especially including the fact that Rovaniik is on this team, a very seasoned Bomb King player, has he lost confidence in his Bomb King over the past couple of weeks to the point where they're literally picking Drogos into Androxus? Like, I don't know. I don't agree with that.
This is, you know, maybe I think... we talked about it the other day. I gave him a little bit of a hard time, but this is the guy who publicly proclaimed he wasn't happy with his Bomb King performance at the Masters LAN when he was the feature. And a lot of people expected big things from Rovaniik. And now that he was really going to work a lot harder. But through that, I've seen him take on a lot of different champions and try to master those champions and not just be a one-trick pony, so to speak. So maybe this is a different opening of characters and not just relying on the Bomb King that he's showcasing here.
Perhaps the Inara, Cassie as well coming through for Woogly. Cassie, for me right now, isn't really, you're not picking something up specific about Cassie. You're not picking her up for like a Dragon Punch. You're not picking her up to counter anyone. I think she's just kind of an A+ damage dealer. If you need some Haven-based damage, it's good from long range, fall off. At her core, you're picking her up for what she does at her core rather than a specific ability. As well as the Inara, maybe they're picking up the Drogos because they're looking way ahead in their draft, trying to take this away. So Odin's Chosen don't have the Dragon Punch personally, but I think Evulli for Odin's Chosen is going to be just as dangerous. Kind of like how we had that discussion about Bomb King and Drogos with Bugsy and Lazy yesterday. I think Evulli kind of falls into that category as well. I think he's going to be just as impactful on either of those characters. So taking one of them away from Evulli is not really, I think, your best bet.
And that's the benefit of having a guy like that on your team. You can do too many things deadly. Either way, the gun is facing at you. And that's not something everybody can say about their carry champions here. And Torvald locked in at the very end. Shaolin coming in to round things out for Woogly. Game 1 should be starting in just a moment between Odin's Chosen and Woogly on Stone Keep. We'll see you there just a sec. Ladies and gentlemen, time to get the game going. Game 1, set 1 for today in the semifinals. Odin's Chosen versus Woogly. On Odin's Chosen, it will be Aerial Assault Ruckus for doesupz, Accelerant Bomb King for Evulli, Darkstalker, Androxus for Kusqt, Ripened Gourd for Maldamba, and Vex can be playing that today. Field Study for Torvald, and WarDoom taking control of him.
On the right side there in the red corner, it's going to be Team Woogly this time around. AsdfMaster going to be on Anar with Mother's Grace and a Cauterize. Corvanor is going to have his Exaction Cassie. Mortal Reach for wizdude. Saris. Rovaniik will have Combustible on his Drogos. Plum going to be taking Recurve for his Shaolin with 2 Wreckers on this side, as well as Morale Boost, seeming to be the theme for the Saris nowadays.
And I love the backline pressure here. If he spotted out Kusqt, he went for a full flank, misses 3 shots. New to the carry role for his team, but definitely not new to carrying on Androxus. He's been doing it since the beginning. Couple of nice shots there on Drogos, pressuring out Rovaniik. He's turned his attention and Shaolin's attention to the back line. So even though he hasn't found a kill, he's opened up some space for Odin's Chosen. 33% on the capture point for them.
AsdfMaster taking a lot of punishment right now. WarDoom getting pretty low, but does have that recharge available to him. A lot of healing punching through right now on AsdfMaster. Evulli needs one more. He's finally going to find first blood. 1 minute and 30 seconds in.
Oh, Kusqt still in the back line, looking to finish Rovaniik. He will. Coming through from Plum, and he will finally take him out. Evulli does the work in the front side of things, right on the middle of the action. And now Odin's Chosen looking sweet here. And that was, to me, a big reason. Kusqt staying in the back line, just keeping the focus of the 2 damage carries on Woogly.
It's why it's not a great idea to pick Drogos into an Androxus, especially a very experienced one like Kusqt. It's just so much distraction. And even in that 1v almost 3 scenario where he had 3 of the backliners kind of coming to get him. The police had been called. He still was able to come away with that kill. That's how good of a matchup it is for Androxus.
And this Darkstalker legendary, we can't talk about it enough. The fact that he can get in and get out, and his mobility is seemingly endless on this type of a map where there's so many corridors for him to duck and dive through, so many rockets he can dodge. It's almost an endless chase for the likes of Drogos and especially Shaolin here. As the upper corner starts to be where Kusqt decides to take his defense, they're still on the move. Odin's chosen, minute and 43 seconds left, 80% to go, right on the money.
Pinch kill on a wizdude, so the healer gone for Team Woogly. A big part of how Inara is able to stay alive, walling herself off for the time being, but Odin's chosen, gonna find her as well off to the side here. Now they've got the kind of permanent man advantage in this fight, make it a 2-man advantage. Plum able to answer back onto 1 kill, but things looking good for Odin's chosen.
WarDoom with a great job to just silence out Saris on the enemy team, making Woogly under pressure, and that just forces the shadow travel at the wrong time for wizdude. He's forced to run away, and that will lead Odin's chosen into a victory here for the first round. 2-0 goes the score. They've got 2 more points they need to capture, though, and Woogly definitely set to try and change things up this round with some items and some credits in their pocket.
Yep, so going to have the big advantage here, all the level 2 offensive items. No Chronos 2s just yet for WarDoom or for Bex 30, but the cauterized 2s across the board, making wizdude's job that much harder. A couple of interesting choices for wizdude, looking like auto buy here with resilience 1, veteran 1, and a morale boost 1, but all good things for Saris here, trying to avoid a lot of that crowd control. We're talking silence, we're talking stuns from Maldamba, we got stuns from Grumpy Bombs and King Bombs, a lot of CC on this Astral Authority lineup.
No kills on the side of Woogly. Only Plum has 2 kills and has not died yet, and he's the only member on the side of Woogly who can claim that stat right now, but looks like he may not last for long. Kusqt in the air. He's got 2 of them spotted out. Shadow travel by Saris will save her, and Kusqt will actually die to Plum yet again in the air. Here comes the seismic crash down onto the ground. WarDoom sucked in with the convergence after that, but still, Odin's chosen, on the point and not moving at all with this flux generator coming through big.
Yeah, Flux Generator on top of Torvald just being a shield right now, and neither Saris nor Inara have records, so WarDoom is fine. He's not worried about those 2 at all right now. Long range bombs coming out of Plum. Second payload going to be captured by Odin's chosen, looking for that 4-0 quick closeout.
Yeah, didn't speak there. The aerial assault was picked up, but a repulsor field still going to give him 30% damage mitigation, and they don't have an Inara to turn it into, somewhat of an 80% damage mitigation on top of the Earthing Guard, but it's more than enough for a guy like Torvald. The shield is still relevant here, Nick, and it's because they don't have those credits. The Record 2s haven't really been able to get full onto the enemy team, and now Woogly is faced with dealing with a Torvald who's a lot tankier at this stage of the game than he would have been if they had won the first capture objective.
Eli laying down some long-range bomb. There's a nice one on the Corvanor in the backline. It's going to pick him up. Rovaniik quickly answers back. AsdfMaster now back in the fight. It's going to be a big tanky turret. Hard to bring down. This Inara looking very healthy, forcing back and actually killing doesupz. So this is going to make a good look here for the stabilization. Woogly trying to get themselves on the board.
Plum really having an excellent game here. I love the combustible choice as well by Rovaniik. Hasn't hit a lot of clutch fire spits, but he's changing his play right now. Hits 2 in a row and helps to push back this offensive onslaught. Plum still, I think, the mainstay for this squad, but here's the Dread Serpent coming out. This is a big turning point for Odin's chosen, and Rovaniik knows it. He's going into the Dragon Punch, wants to finish doesupz off. He tries to go into the air. He will not be able to escape the Dragon's Fury, but Evulli will come through big, and a Kusqt in the air with the Accursed Arm means that in under 6 minutes, Odin's chosen have won succinctly.
So much left in the tank as well. The King Bomb was up there on the high ground. Great target prioritization. It's kind of a risk-reward thing. Normally we see teams kind of calling out the same targets, wanting to burst them down, wanting to make sure that they confirm these kills. That just wasn't the case here. We had Kusqt on AsdfMaster, caught out on an Inara. So that kill is basically dead to rights. Recognizing that, Evulli has clearly received the call to just continue to surge forward, finding more kills, killing Rovaniik there at the end, and splitting the difference. Now they have everyone wiped. There is literally no one to contest. And then they have 2 ultimates for anyone that would dare come out of spawn. This is the type of dominance, the type of snowball that I think we were trying to avoid when we banned out Jaguar Falls from Team Woogly.
I actually, and you got to say this, although the team didn't perform that well, I think Plum really stood out for me in that game. 7-2 in terms of eliminations. He actually had at least 4 of the killing blows on their team. And so those are a lot of those eliminations are really back off of Plum's performance. Only died 2 times. In fact, you look at the stats, he's got better stats than Kusqt in this game, matching him with kills and actually having a little bit more damage. So I love the way that he's able to really fulfill that role. Of course, Kusqt was sharing the load of 2 other superstars going at it. Evulli and doesupz really carrying a lot of the damage weight in that fight. Woogly's got to bounce back, though, and the next map will be Frog Isle. Definitely a snowbally map as well, Nick. So they've got to figure out something quick. Do you think this loss happened before the game even started? Maybe the draft just didn't go their way?
The draft, like I said, personally, I don't really care too much for picking Drogoz for Rovaniik early into an Androxus when he is such a good Bomb King player. And like I said, Evulli, either way, I think is going to rip you apart on Bomb King or Drogoz. So if you got to give one up, it might as well get your guys where they're most comfortable and as well giving them a better matchup to boot.
Yeah, that's very, very important. So the champion draft is here. Can't wait to see what these guys go for. To me, I'm really excited about these new teams in North America trying to have the same type of performances that we saw yesterday with Flashpoint, and all of these great performances from the kind of secondary teams wanting to get into that top tier. But so much of it has to do with the draft. How do you set yourself up to win rather than just counting on your aim when you get into game? And Nara will be taken by Odin's Chosen. And now Woogly going to respond probably with the Drogoz and the Saris yet again. Oh, but it's the Androxus.
The Saris Androxus. The Androxus I get, the Saris I don't. Just valuing Saris pretty highly right now. Bomb King Androxus, I think would have been the proper way to go right here. It depends how highly they're prioritizing Saris. I mean, from what I've seen, Maldamba and Saris are kind of the #1 and #2 healers in most cases. But for me, Saris doesn't do enough to warrant taking away. Maldamba or Saris, I think, can do fairly well for themselves. But you pick Bomb King Androxus here, you force Odin's Chosen to pick into the Drogoz if they want that solid source of blast damage. And then you have its counter on your squad. And you just put Astro Authority in the same situation that they just put you in game #1.
Very true. The question is maybe they're not comfortable with, it's interesting. I mean, this is weird to see Woogly avoid the Bomb King twice when they've got a guy like Rovaniik who has said that he loves Bomb King. And it's not even that they're prioritizing.
I think he's just tilted away from it.
It's just not even that they're prioritizing Drogoz here, because Odin could have easily taken the Drogoz. It's not like they locked it in second. Maybe just thinking Androxus is that good and they want to test Kusqt's hands on this damage roll outside of the Androxus.
Hey.
That's actually all we've seen him play.
Yeah,
this
it
is
is.
big.
But not having, like I said, they take the early Andro. I think Odin's Chosen respect the matchup enough not to take Drogoz, and Evulli being so good on Bomb King. They're going to start with that. But the Mave, this is likely what Kusqt is going to be playing.
And this is something that is probably surprising everyone. I'm not really sure when's the last time we've seen Mave in the actual pro scene. It might be because they feel that confident against Woogly and they want to test some things out. It might be because Kusqt's got some secret skills he's been practicing. We want to know what he had after the Androxus. It's a Mave. I wonder what he has after the Mave. We might see some Sky today, boys, if things start getting deeper with Woogly taking away Kusqt's favorite carries. We'll see in game 2 here on Frog Isle coming up after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the action on Frog Isle, a place where Frog maybe had a little bit too much to imbibe the night before, and he's just spewing it all out with a beautiful fountain of water. Kusqt, though, in the spawn room, ready to go with these daggers. Mave going to be played by him, and he's going to use an artful dodger. You'll see Exaction Cassie for doesupz, Accelerant Bomb King for Evulli, Mother's Grace and Nara for WarDoom, and Ripened Gourd Maldamba for Vex.
Woogly trying to bring it back here with Fusillade Drogoz, played by Rovaniik. It's going to be actually Tinker and Barrack for the time being. We'll have to see if he switches that. That's a pretty uncommon legendary for Corvanor's Barrack. Mortal Reach for wizdude Saris, Godslayer for Plum's Androxus, as well as Half Shell for AsdfMaster's Makoa.
He kept it. So Corvanor going with the extra damage. Tinker going to give him another 100 damage at base for his weapon, and then also reduce some of the clustering, so make it more accurate. So he's going to hit more of those shots as well from the blunderbuss. First blood for WarDoom already, and Kusqt in the back line trying to just zone out again, and yet again, Odin's Chosen do this great job of pressuring out the back line of Woogly.
They do. Prowl's going to be popped as well. Walk It Off 4 being run by Kusqt right now, so 160 health per second while he's in plow. But Plum definitely getting the better of him right now in this engagement. 9 lives going to be popped. Walk It Off tops him up as he heads back up, looking for some more knives onto Rovaniik, but no kills just yet, but a lot of distraction value here for Kusqt, and 81% on the point for Odin's Chosen.
And you know what? That's what they need to do. ASD has the right idea, just can't execute. whiff on the hook means that Kusqt will live, but not much longer. Rovaniik shuts down the artful dodging thief, and he will go back to base. This could be a retake by Woogly. In fact, it is. The get wrecked spray on the tree, but doesupz will have to actually get wrecked himself and move away from this objective, totally in control of the underdogs here.
Walled off right now. WarDoom is going to be hooked out. Doesn't have his earthen guard. Now he does. He's going to be fighting under the shell shield, though, into some barrack turrets. Just absorbing a lot of damage right now. Seismic Crash has been charged. Dragon punches off to the races. Rovaniik looks for dousupz. It's actually going to find him.
Oh, Ripen Gore thrown onto WarDoom, but he gets pulled right away, so they lose the front. And Woogly will take objective number 1 here on Frog Isle. Stunning turn of events for a lot of people watching, especially if you saw the last game, which was a 5-minute decimation. Woogly have turned things around. Rovaniik on a 4 streak here, looking to really say to the community, to all of us here, that he does not need to play Bomb King, but down he goes with dousupz casting.
RP Bomb comes out as well. 2 kills already for Odin's Chosen. Kusqt finding one of those dousupz hooked in and blasted. A lot of burst damage coming through. Walled off. AsdfMaster is going to be claimed as well. Plum with the fadeaway slay onto Evulli, but doesn't have the mobility to get out. It's going to be the killing spree as Kusqt finds his 3rd kill in this engagement.
Now, is this partly the confidence, the nonchalant type of vibe that Odin's Chosen put off when they picked this lineup, Nick, with the Mave coming through? I mean, clearly not a meta pick. Kusqt hasn't found a lot of individual success on it. Has this really worked for them already?
Not really right now. There was 2 key things that went wrong here. We'll talk about that after this fight. Seismic Crash and conversions coming through right now. A lot of CC locking down Woogly. They're losing this fight pretty hard right now. Gonna have to back up as they got the worst end of that trade. But yeah, Kusqt did go down to the Makoa, rotating back into that fight. A lot of burst damage, was able to get out. And then, despite getting Rovaniik low during that little skirmish, we saw Evulli launching bombs across the map, trying to clean up the kill, but unable to do so. He finds himself cleaned up, so a free 2 for O exchange. And then Woogly have double frontliners, so it's very hard to uproot them once you give them that one team fight. Once you give them that slight man advantage, they're going to abuse you.
And, you know, Woogly, they also have the fruit. I'm talking about Plum. He's coming through strong, man. No apples, no oranges today. Plum coming through helps AsdfMaster clean up Vex. So no healer for Odin's Chosen. However, what they do have is this push continuing their way. It is closing in on being pushed through, and that could be a 2-0 lead. Those are hard to come back from, especially on Frog Isle. So the danger is nigh. They need to make sure that they can defend this somehow. Odin's Chosen looking to regroup and regroup quickly.
Woogly lose enough just to try and back up, though. They still had 3 members here with a tank and a healer. I don't see why they didn't just want to push forward on that. Plum will find Kusqt, though, shutting him down once again. The hook gonna whiff, though. Evulli finds 1 kill. 9 seconds remain here. It's all even, all tied up in the man advantage as we head into this final team fight of the round.
Plum gets another kill onto dousupz. This man is playing as delicious as he sounds. And on a hot summer day, there's nothing more than a good Plum for you to help your team move into success. He goes down, though. WarDoom and Kusqt say, nah, we've already had our full, and we will take this overtime our way now. End things, defend this payload, and get ready to do this one more time. Kusqt already experienced a little bit of the pressure that Maeve can bring to a team, but can be brought onto her, especially with a Makoa looking for the hook every single time she pokes her cute little face.
Yeah, it's dangerous, you know, to run her into the Makoa, but with the Artful Dodger kind of being the standard legendary for her, you can actually just pop that and get out of the hook if you're quick enough on the draw. So Maeve, pretty decent against this lineup. It's just tough. I think being out of the meta for so long, it's been a while since anyone's really played her at this level. So landing those knives is pretty difficult. It's something that can kind of, you know, come and go for you. You could have a good day or a bad day with it. And that's, you know, so much of what she relies on, because dashes and stuff, being shorter now, they're that much more vital to be used for repositioning. You can't really dive as deep with them as you used to be able. So very, very important that you do hit your auto attacks with Maeve.
She's usually going to get seen here. The Seismic Crash available for Inara. WarDoom doing a lot of work on the Corvanor. As Hi-Rez come through, he's going to try to stay alive. Earthing Guard save you. Instinctual reaction, but the Dragon Punch is a one-hit KO. dousupz looks to find the last shot on the Dragon. The Hunter's Daughter will find her prey. And 15% on for Woogly. Plum looking to seal the deal. Nice roll. Exaction going to keep him healed up just a bit. But turrets, barrack, and 4 other members on the side of Woogly should mean that dousupz got to die. Wow. But he's rolling around here. I can't believe he stayed alive this long. This is incredible.
Look at him go. He finally falls down. 3 members. He's buying a lot of time, and 2 kills are able to be found off the back of that as everyone's just scrambling to kill doesupz, rattling and rolling through that fight. Woogly are in the lead right now on the capture point progress with 42%, but Odin's Chosen are now surpassing that mark. The Earthen Guard going to keep Evulli alive with a nice mid-air bomb. Shuts down Rovaniik.
He is a fantastic Cassie player, bringing things back to doesupz, which is given Odin's Chosen the room that they needed. They attracted so many members on Woogly to just focus him down and finally get the last hit. Exaction Cassie so good now with the recent buffs, not only to the ultimate, but to her actual cooldown reduction on the roll, that she can just be in a mid-fight, rolling and staying safe, getting health back, and doing a ton of damage as well. The objective captured for Odin's Chosen as the payload begins to move now. 2 minutes and 14 seconds on the clock. Woogly on the defense.
And they find it here, looking for a team fight starting to break out, but Evulli has been really clutch, finding a lot of pickups. doesupz rolls into the back line as well, being very aggressive on this Cassie alongside Kusqt. Everyone is contributing to this team fight from Odin's Chosen. This is the type of the aggression, the type of, foot to the gas that we just didn't see in the previous round from Woogly when they had the man advantage. This is how you choke a team out and don't let them get back into a round.
Yeah, this is how you keep them not only spawn camped, but you keep the respawns trickling in. You don't let them get grouped up as 5. And right now, AsdfMaster, to stay alive here at this crucial time, goes into an ultimate. And now, Maeve's made him so susceptible. doesupz picks up a kill there. Dragon Punch means Rovaniik is in trouble. Plum in the air as well. doesupz still alive, rolling around. The mid-range fighting from the Hunter's Daughter puts him in a 1v1 scenario. But he's got his ultimate. He can see Plum before Plum can see him. The reversal comes through. Can't get it. Plum shuts him down. Still playing great.
WarDoom has wiggled his way out of, I think, 2 or 3 Dragon Punches this round to the point where Rovaniik looks like he just stopped going for him and has chosen to just try and find this Maldamba in the back line. Losing this fight, WarDoom super caught out right now. Doesn't have the mobility to get himself away. He's just going to try and go down swinging, get that ultimate as highly charged as he possibly can, but very staggered from his team, but still plenty of time here. One more clean team fight, and Odin's Chosen are going to be able to convert this payload.
I'm surprised. Those moments that the defense happens or the offense happens usually is a result of 1v1, and then that player who won coming to help snowball the rest of the fight while the frontliners are kind of neck and neck here. That's exactly what happened, except Plum beat out doesupz, and he is 9-3. 9 actual killing blows for him. Only 3 deaths in this game. This is incredible play. I'm not sure they were even expecting Plum to show up this big against one of the best, if not the best team in North America.
A lot of members low right now. doesupz rolling around, looking for a flank. Pop that spray, looking good as he heads into battle here. Rovaniik, a couple more shots, and he's going to go down. He's 1 shot right now up in the air, but no hit scan threat is allowing Rovaniik to escape a lot of these times with low HP. A lot of members low here for Woogly. One's going to fall. Can Odin's Chosen find the conversion?
Oh, that's huge. What a convergence. It will take down Evulli. Kusqt as well. Plum is going to help Rovaniik finish off doesupz. Left alone, Inara falling down from the dragon in the skies, and it's a successful defense by Team Woogly. Oh, so surprising to some people, but Woogly, they seem like they've got this confidence all along. Ever since this map began, they have been showing up and playing well, and now few of their team members on streaks. Plum on a 9 streak as well. 2 ultimates charged. They're ready to go, Nick.
Rovaniik, has been escaping with really low HP. A couple of members getting out and back in and continuing to have impacts on these fights. And I think it's as a result of the lack of hit scan on Odin's Chosen. Every single character is projectile based. So once these targets get pretty far away, once they start to retreat, it's very difficult to confirm those kills, with the Cassie bolts, with these Maeve knives. But if they had something maybe like a Lex instead of a Maeve, I think they would be able to confirm a lot more of these kills and frankly have roughly the same type of impact, the same style of play Kusqt would be able to execute that he's trying to do with Maeve right now.
And with Maeve being the pick he chose, we haven't seen him play anybody but Androxus, and now the Maeve. I wonder, was it a bit of a troll, or maybe he was really trying to bring out something he'd been working on? Either way, I wonder what he would have picked up and how this game would have gone different if it wasn't Maeve he was playing. Right now, though, just trying to stay positive. Kusqt rounding around the corner, looking for Rovaniik, and he's going to pounce into the air, get pulled by AsdF, and this could mean death for the little thief here. He's going to Artful Dodger away, cleanse the CC, heal up a bit, and he will stay alive. Both teams not on the point right now.
Lock it up, gonna convince him to stay alive. 2 members moving from Odin's Chosen. It's WarDoom coming around with the flank on doesupz by his side that cleans up Rovaniik. Confirming these kills is gonna be so important here. Plum will have that lifeline attached to Sarah, so he'll be hard to bring down, but he's not looking to overextend right now.
And doesupz still playing like a masterclass Cassie. This zone is really good from Odin's Chosen. I don't see a way with only the Barrack to be able to get in. Makoa's going to have to do a lot. Shell spin's not really available in range, and the objective will be captured before ASDF can get there. So after the hook, might be able to kill Vex. Dome Shield pops so early, and he's going to fall. A waste of a very crucial ultimate for Woogly.
And now backline is in trouble as Kusqt has a great angle, but Sarah's so good at dealing with flanks in her face, puts tons of damage into Kusqt, takes him out very early. AsdfMaster finds Vex. AsdfMaster finds another on the front line to go down in favor of Woogly. So despite the Kalo being captured, all the momentum on Woogly's side right now.
Oh, that was good. I loved what I just saw there. Woogly realized that, too early, a lot of ultimate value, but they all decide to commit, and they end up wiping Odin's Chosen. But now with the seismic crash as well, maybe not getting a lot of value. That's just even things out for these squads. Both tanks missing their real game-changing opportunities here with the Dome Shield and the seismic crash down. With a minute 30 seconds left, though, they'll be able to build that up with this push.
Plenty of time remaining here. Both teams just feeling it out right now. A lot of ultimate spent in that last engagement. We saw the seismic crash King Bomb come out with nothing really spent from Woogly to try and stabilize. So frankly, that's a win for Woogly. 2 ultimates from Odin's Chosen. Not a whole lot of ground gain. Not a very convincing team fight one. There is some resilience coming through for these 2 tanks. So that's combo isn't going to be super effective anymore.
Odin's Chosen, they've got the Dread Serpent, which is great dispersal, but they're going to use it right now, and they're going to go in with Maves. Add the darkness into this fight, but look at this convergence and look at Rovaniik ready to go. Earthen Guard for WarDoom Zanara, and somehow he's going to stay alive. The damage reduction's so good, and he's actually going to get that immunity to cauterize, which will allow him to get healed up by Vex. So what a great combination of play and communication by Odin's Chosen to keep their front line alive and make that an 11 streak as well.
WarDoom continuing to roll on with all of the healing on his side. AsdfMaster, nice Dome Shield up on the top there, but Earthen Guard just so tanky. WarDoom loves this solo tank life, and this is exactly the type of brawler that he has been waiting for. One of the players I think is going to succeed the most with Inara's new play style.
And again, he gets so low and he waits for the Earthen Guard until he's ready to get the healing. He knows he's got that 5-second window to heal back up to full. He's not using it early. Side. doesupz will fall thanks to Rovaniik, but WarDoom can get revenge, and that means with Maeve's ultimate, he can't see where the Stone Spear will be firing. Odin's Chosen with another victory, this time a lot closer, but still, they come away with the W at the end of the day.
Rovaniik, 112,000 damage despite all that, still not able to come away with the win, and that's the thing, because there was no hit scan threat, but Odin's Chosen just getting it done. 86K for WarDoom Zanara, actually beating out Evulli's Bomb King. And amazing. Part of this comes off the back of just the healer most of the time. He's going to be brawling out close range with some tanks, just with the advantage. Inara is such a good brawler right now. He's going to be farming a lot of damage, but WarDoom knowing when to get aggressive into the backline as well. We saw him cleaning up numerous kills. Inara is not hit scan, but she's pretty close. She has, I would wager, honestly, probably the fastest projectile speed of anyone on this roster. Cassie probably right up there with her, but she was the most consistent there in terms of being able to confirm damage onto Rovaniik's airborne Drogos.
Yeah, and I mean, she brings a lot to the table. We've really talked about this stuff that is obvious, and I think that was, to me, what was really cool. Sometimes you see the uniqueness of what a certain player brings to a champion, even when they're good, but sometimes you just see the basics done and executed really, really well. And a great plan executed poorly, not going to win the day, but a worse plan, maybe even a bad plan executed to perfection, sometimes can get you what you need. And every single time he got low, the Earthen Guard and Vex was right on the money with the Minning Spirits, and then a Gourd to follow up, healed him back to full, gave him a ton of life. You see he was on a 14 streak there, only died 5 times, tied with the lowest amount of deaths aside from Vex, who only died 4. So great combination between those two. I'm liking the pairing, Nick, that we're seeing with Vex and WarDoom. They seem to be having a bird Thiel thing going on in North America.
In between those two, but notable picks missing here. Again, the Maeve, worked. They won the game. That's fine. That's cool. Whatever. But not a ton of damage. Kusqt maybe just feeling out his, new role as this flanker. Androxus is what he's comfortable on. He's been playing a decent amount of Lex as well, but you know, it's Astro Authority. They're going to try everything. They're going to try the Mave. They might even try the Sky if they're feeling that confident. You never know with these guys. And that's, you know, one of the reasons I love them.
Yeah. And the next map will be Serpent Beach as we head over on your screens to see the map draft. This could be the last one for Woogly if they're not able to get a victory. And that's exactly what Odin's Chosen will be hoping. I mean, I got to say that I'm kind of tongue-tied here announcing these names because so used to calling these guys Astro Authority. If you're just joining us here, that is Odin's Chosen. They've actually had a organization split from Astro Authority. So Odin's Chosen, the name they're going under now, and Team Woogly, not a firm stay in this scene, but definitely some players in North America here. As again, to mention one more time, the map will be Serpent Beach. Game 3 here, champion draft just starting.
First pick going to be over here for Woogly. What do they take this time around? Is the Androxus heavily enough prioritized? You know, it definitely is come up a little bit, but Serpent Beach in particular, very good map for Andro to try and control the high ground. I expect a Bomb King in response at the very least for Odin's Chosen. But what will they go with to try and counter out the Drogos that is inevitable to come from Woogly now? They need some type of hit scan pressure. The Ruckus is going to be good and for that, but Ruckus doesn't always have, you know, the distance. Drogos can be very far away from him, and honestly, because of that, Drogos can oftentimes come out, you know, on top of Drogos.
Yeah, you know what? I don't mind it. I'd like to see a long range hit scan actual tank come into this game. That would be pretty cool in my eyes because you really don't have that. But I think Inara and Ruckus are the closest thing in our game right now to being able to really deal with these aerial threats as a tank. We've seen them be very effective against Drogos, and now not even picked up in the top 6, which is we see not even the top 7 now. Drogos kind of left out to the side, kicked out of the bar, not able to hang out with his friends anymore. So Maldamba and Buck following along. This is something Odin's Chosen are pretty comfortable with.
Yeah, Woogly, I think, are still in a good enough place where they could pick a Drogos if they want it. Maybe Torvald, I don't think they've kind of had the, you know, want to pick that up. Odin's Chosen could potentially go into it. Looking like maybe a little bit of a D69 draft at that point, though, with Ruckus. If it's going to be played by WarDoom, I expect Aerial Assault, but might be doesupz here depending on what comes through next for Odin's Chosen.
Now, a lot of people are saying, you see the Inara, you see the Seras, how do you combat it? One of the newest champions in the realm. You know, you got Willow as a damage champion, a lot of AoE pressure, that dead zone, so good, right? If you're thinking that, not the case. Inara, with the new change, actually immune to that debuff that Willow would provide. So even though it's 100% anti-healing zone, Inara, when she pops her Earthen Guard and with Seras healing her, will still receive that full Seras heal. So Willow not really able to counter out this meta right now. That's why you see her largely unpicked in the last couple of days. Maeve again for Odin's Chosen. Kusqt wants to prove he can bring the Street Thief back into this meta. Nick, what do you feel about this?
So they're just going for really, really high mobility. Different, you know, we've seen District 69 do it, but it was a little bit different. They did it with Androxus, Bomb King, and Buck, as well as a solo tank Torvald to try and supplement that. This looks like just a different type of version of that. If Ruckus with WarDoom taking the aerial assault is going to try and keep up this mobility, what I think Odin's Chosen are going to try and do, rather than get picked off one by one by this Makoa from Team Woogly, they're looking to just collapse and just slaughter them as soon as possible, using all their mobility to just outrace, outpace, and outmaneuver Woogly around this, you know, very high ground centric map.
Pace is the name of the game. We'll see who can keep it, who can take it. Odin's Chosen, game, match, point pretty much here. We'll see if Woogly can answer back right after this. No, it's down to the wire. If you're just joining us, Odin's Chosen, game, match point here against Woogly, and it will be Odin's Chosen trying to seal the deal. Woogly, though, with Rovaniik on Fuselage Drogos, Darkstalker, Androxus for Corvanor, Mortal Reach, Seras for wizdude, Pluck, Makoa for Plum, and Mother's Grace and Nara for ASD.
And doesupz will be running his Accelerant Bomb King this time. Evulli making the swap onto the Bounce House Buck. Aerial Assault for WarDoom's Ruckus. Kusqt with the Artful Dodger, Maeve, and a Ripened Gourd Maldamba rounding things out. 2 Cronoses, so Kusqt actually not going for the Cauterize this time around, as they already have 3. Don't feel the need to pick up any wrecker against a solo Pluck Makoa.
Alley Cat Maeve, the nice dressing there on top of the daggers, ready to go ahead and do some work. Good map for her. Already, ASD running over, trying to pressure out the young Street Thief. But looking in the back line for a little bit of damage. Just going to reverse that trajectory, head on back to the safety of her teammates, but getting low already. Not really able to make an impact quite yet.
doesupz getting low as well, backing up out of combat. Kusqt with his cooldown starting to come back up. He's going to make his way back into this fight. Nice knife, narrowly finds the first blood onto Corvanor at a very long range.
They're very different playstyle as well, but this is all they need. Give them an inch, they'll take a... And Kusqt and Squad looking to finish things off.
Wow.
doesupz on the Bomb King really coming through as well with a nice kill onto Plum.
Look,
so 45% on the point.
That's the advantage that you have with all of this mobility for Odin's Chosen. You find one pick, and then you absolutely have the mobility just to move your whole team composition and just chase them out. On the back foot, Woogly didn't have enough mobility to get away fast enough, and they one little pick, one lucky knife. I'm going to call it luck there because, frankly, the shield just wasn't in time to save Corvanor. One pick resulted in a complete collapse from Woogly.
Evil Eyes Buck jumping in the background as well. He's got 3 to land on. That's value town if I've seen it. Plum gets taken down long range because of doesupz bombs, and ASD left on the point by himself, throwing the wall up just to try and delay the inevitable, but with the wrecked shotgun here, Evil Eye doing a lot of work will help Kusqt slay wizdude, and that will be the first objective put together on the board for Odin's Chosen.
They are going to find out 2 minutes and 30 seconds to push it to completion. Corvanor is pretty poked out right now. Evil Eye could be in a rough spot here. He's going to get blasted by 3 members of Woogly as he tries to escape. There comes the Hexafire from WarDoom. Doesn't find anything here, and a lot of ultimates starting to come through. He's trying to stay alive, trying to keep their momentum high as Odin shows it.
Oh, and this is great. Kusqt finds an absolutely vulnerable, stunned out wizdude, thanks to a grumpy bomb by doesupz, and Rovaniik getting pressured out by Maeve as well. Kusqt doing a great job of just relocating mid-air, trying to hit the daggers yet again. So despite all of the pressure that Woogly once had in this set, it feels like a long and lost time because they are just raging in the backline. Plum, wizdude, they have no moment to breathe.
Not looking good here. Ultimates are available to try and stabilize. Team Woogly have everything, but they have to try and find value here. Harris is boxing out pretty effectively with Kusqt, but now in a rough spot with no shadow travel available. wizdude gonna fall down.
No, Kusqt sends Corvanor into the drink, hits him with the pounds and then a spray. Get wrecked is the theme of this push for Odin's Chosen, and Team Woogly have really got to turn things around now, Nick. They're down 2-0. If they continue this, they are going to be out, and Odin's Chosen will find themselves in the finals.
Items coming through now. Odin's Chosen way out in front. Cauterized 2's coming online for Evil Eye and WarDoom, as well as Chronos 2's. Those are very expensive items that Kusqt and Vex were both able to afford. doesupz with a Cauterized 2, as well as a Kill the Heal. Loves this item, just loves the potential to snowball a team fight, especially with a character like Bomb King. Despite his health nerfs, Kill the Heal is an item that can literally win you a game, you know, especially when you get to that rank 2, rank 3 mark. If you're trying to solo carry, there's nothing better and then Kill the Heal. When you're getting 900 health for an elimination, you can really just roll through an entire team fight.
Absolutely. And you talk about stats right now. doesupz 5-0, WarDoom 3-0, Kusqt 6-1, Evil Eye 4-1, Vex 0-6, hasn't died. There's not a lot of deaths on the side of Odin's Chosen. They've got to be able to change this momentum. Woogly have a tough task ahead of them as ASDF falls, though, leaving them with a man down and a tank down as well.
WarDoom, love watching him use this aerial assault to just navigate around the map. Now setting up on the high ground, dissuading anyone from pushing in from Woogly. And 69% already on the point here. So much mitigation here. The item lead is really starting to show for Odin's Chosen.
And Ancient Rage popped by Plum, who finds himself on the tank instead of the Androxus, which he proved to be just so incredibly good at in the last matchup on Frog Isle. But nonetheless, Corvanor will find a pickup onto Kusqt, albeit too late. Score 3-0, the push starting now. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Rovaniik and the entire team of Woogly backed into a corner as doesupz finds 2, and the push continues.
Ooh, Evil Eye still not able to be found, even though he got hooked in at about 10% health. Plum just not enough damage to do the deed here. And there needs to be some kills, frankly, from Woogly right now. They are being absolutely rolled over, only finding 3 kills so far in this entire game.
And what's dangerous is that when they get down to the wire, when they need to defend, the issue could be that the Dread Serpent is available to knock them away. King Bomb comes through for doesupz. Corvanor goes down in the process, and Vex 30 still alive and well. Uses the Dread Serpent early, wants to wipe all of Team Woogly right now and not wait till later to get their prize. And it looks like it could just happen. Odin's chosen here, ready to push it to the end. 1:20, but they won't need any more time. It seems like Hexafire to do it. And that is a victory and a ticket to the finals.
Just, you know, it's just a superior team, I think, watching at this point. I don't think there's any other way around it, no matter what they're getting. I mean, these are all really good picks. This is a strong draft on Serpent Beach from Team Woogly. Rovaniik on the Drogos. I mean, those are all great champions. They're all great players playing them as well. But if you can't do anything with that lineup, then it's just cut and dry. I think the superior team here with Odin's chosen.
Absolutely. And I think it's really, really important to note that sometimes there's just a skill gap and there's an experience gap, not necessarily even skill, because we're not going to count out these guys being able to play this game. I'm sure they're some of the more mechanically gifted people in the world at Paladins. But when you talk about putting 5 teammates together, all different voices, all different play styles, and trying to make that come to fruition as best as possible, get the most out of that squad. Odin's chosen, formerly Astral Authority, have just had so much more time to be able to do that. And, you know, the switches for me are really coming into play here. I'm a little wary though, Nick. I will bring this last point up before we go. I'm a little wary, and maybe in a good way. Maybe it's more, maybe I'm more anxious. I want to see what Kusqt brings out outside of the Androxus, because it's so heavily contested. And if they face up against Denial in the finals, you know Stolze's going to want that. They might prioritize that. What's he going to bring out after?
To bring out Lex, I think, is what he's going to go to. I don't know if they'll go to the Mave. Kusqt can bring out the Buck. Evulli getting that this time around. I think that's just how the draft ended up working out, that he and Evulli ended up being on the Buck. But yeah, this might be one of those cases where, you know, this is a weird draft from Odin's chosen, and because of that, it makes it that much more difficult to play against if you don't really know the ins and outs of it, because you've never really seen it before. So the Astral Authority, without having to show too much, I think, of their in-depth strategy, being able to come away with victories like this just by keeping their opponents guessing at what they're really trying to do here with this composition.
Yeah, absolutely. And filling a very big void, I think, in terms of the competitive scene, getting Maeve out onto the battleground the realm for 2 games in a row was definitely a treat to see her. We'll see if that continues today. Let's take a look at the brackets though, because we'll be heading down to the bottom side of things for the next semifinal that we'll be watching. That will be against Kungarna and Denial. So a couple new names here. Kungarna, a name if you've been around Paladins, you should be familiar with. These guys were actually at the finals for DreamHack when the first big tournament for Paladins ever took place about a year ago. There were a couple other guys on there that are out and in the scene now. It's a team run by a former player who used to play in Paladins, who was on that roster previously. They have put together a good squad that has beaten Impact on the way here. And Denial, of course, Stolze added a new member, Nick, and that's Prince Danny as well.
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting to see how those two mesh. You know, what we've received, Shady Shades has stepped down from this team, from competitive Paladins for the time being. Always sorry to see him go. He was a great player, but Prince Danny, one of the phenomenal up-and-comers, really young guy too, so could really grow into mature and become a really big staple of this scene.
And so we'll be excited to see what happens there. Can't wait for that one. Coming up right after this break. Don't go anywhere. We'll have some more Paladins action. The second semifinal of the day coming up, Denial versus Kungarna.